Hello, 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 and how are you? I'm fine, and I hope that you are too. Hola, 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 y cómo estás? Muy bien, y espero que tú también. Hello, Orange Room friends. It's been a while since I've seen you, and I hope you had a good break. And it's good to be with you again. I am still at my house, and you're still at your house, but we're all together in this new way. And so we're going to start with our calendar. The last time we were at school was Thursday, April 2nd. We've had a lot of days since then. It is still April. It's not Thursday anymore. We've had all of these days have happened since then. So, we're trying to figure out what this day is right here. It comes after 13, and yesterday was Monday. So let's sing the song, shall we? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I raised my hand on Tuesday. Did you get that? Did you do it too? All right, so now we know it's Tuesday right here. So let's count how many days we've had so far in April. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What comes after 13? I think it's 14. All right, so now it is 14. We have a pattern to figure out, in which we haven't been able to do this pattern yet. So hopefully you can see enough of it. There's 5 parts to it, all right? It's tricky. So it's a rectangle, red square, green square. And if you can't see that this is red and this is red and this is green, then this square has a black line underneath it. And then it goes back to a rectangle again. So let's try that. Rectangle, red square, green square, rectangle. Rectangle, red square, green square, rectangle. Rectangle, red square. What comes after a red square? Red square, green square. Red square, green square. So we have red square, green square. All right, and it also has that line so you can tell the difference. It's a little bit trickier, but I thought we'd give it a whirl. So I want to say hello to everybody today. And hello to Anne and to Raina in the morning class, and to Maria and Linda in the afternoon class. And I'd also like to say hello to Bella and Carolyn and Clara and Emily and La, Jasper and Jet and Juliana and Maya and Nick and Nora and Karine and Mariana and Santiago and Seamus and William. And I'd like to say hello to Ari and Ariane and Ben and Desmond and Iman and Eva and Henry and Caitlin and Madison and Maeve and Micah and Lucy and Olivia and Sadie and to Vicky. So hello, Orange Room friends. We just push that out of the way for a minute here. And I have a mystery bag. Can you guys help me sing our song? Let's see about that. So make sure the phone is off so we don't get a call in the middle of our class. So, what's in the mystery bag? Who can tell? Maybe a donut, maybe a bell. What's in the mystery bag? We can't see. It's a surprise for you and me. All right, Orange Room friends. Is it big or little? Kind of big. Well, maybe it's in between. Is it hard or soft? Hard. Look, it's kind of rounded. Fits in my hand, rounded like. So keep that in mind. All right, put your thinking caps on. It's used in the kitchen. Excuse me. It's used in the kitchen. Well, lots of things are used in the kitchen. Maybe it's a cup. Well, I think it's in a cup, but it's not a cup. Number 2, it can make things rise. It can make things rise sort of like yeast. So it's used in the kitchen, and it can make things rise, sort of like yeast. You can, clue number 3, you can use it when you make cookies and muffins. Let's see, I like to put sugar and eggs and vanilla and butter in my cookies and chocolate chips in them. And I usually put in some flour. That can help it rise, but it's a little small. And salt. Let's look. It could be this one other ingredient. That is baking soda. And it's a white powder, and I'll show it to you in a few minutes. And you can make cookies with it, or muffins, or lots of things. It helps things puff up and rise, kind of like yeast. Okay, so that is our mystery bag for the day. And I'm going to read you a story. So hold this thought for when we get to our experiment. All right, I'm going to read you a story called Ted. Let's see if I can move this a little closer so you can get up nice and close to this book. There we go. This book is called Ted, and it's written by Tony Dieter Lizzie, and he did the pictures too. Look at him in his house. Look who's in the window. Look up there in that window. He's sitting there having his cereal. The party. Ted blew into my house one Saturday morning. He didn't even knock. I was eating cereal, and as usual, my father was busy in his study. "Hello, birthday boy," Ted bellowed. Where are you? Where are the raspberries?" "Sorry," I said. You have the wrong house. My birthday was last week." "Oh," he frowned, then smiled a smug smile. "I'm Ted, and raspberries are my favoriteest food. They help me keep pinkish purpley. Do you have any?" He looked harmless enough, though, so I found him some raspberries and sat down to finish my cereal. "So what's next, birthday boy?" asked Ted. Look at him. All right, can you see that page? I'll show it to you again after I read. You can see. I shrugged. Then I remembered my birthday gifts. "Wait, I'll be right back." A minute later, I returned with Monopoly under one arm and Twister under the other. "Father gave me these for my birthday, but we haven't had a chance to play them yet." "Then let's party," Ted boomed. And so we did. We ate raspberry cereal and played Monopoly Twister. I knew that this would be the beginning of a fantastic friendship. See them playing their games? When I told Father about Ted, he gave me one of his funny looks. "An imaginary friend, huh? I had one of those back when I was your age. Just try not to get yourself into trouble." See him over his dad? Does he think that? I don't think the dad can see him. He says, "Shave and a haircut." A few days later, I asked Father to take us to the movies. Ted thought I should look my best. "First things first, take your bath, and I'll give you a shave and a haircut." "But kids my age don't shave." "Didn't you just have a birthday?" Ted asked. "That's right." Boy, Ted was a genius. Okay, do kids shave? Look at that. He's a little kid. There's the picture. Look at this. Once I was out of the tub, Ted lathered my face real good and gave me a shave. Then he glued bits of toilet paper to my face. "What are these?" I asked. "Tissue plugs," Ted answered. "They'll keep your beard from growing back." "Oh, so that's why my father does it." Then it was time for my haircut. I grabbed a chair and sat in front of the mirror, and Ted tied a towel around me and snippy snap. I looked like $1,000,000. Now look, he didn't use a real shaver here. It looks like he was using a ruler right there. So he was pretending to shave his face. And sometimes when you shave your face, you'll see people, they stick tissue paper on their face because sometimes they cut themselves, and so it's to help the blood. It's not to make it from the hair growing back. That's silly. But look at his hair. Uh-oh. Are you supposed to play with scissors in your hair? We are not. That is not a good idea. But Father didn't think so. Look at Father. How could you do this? He asked. Ted helped me. Don't you think he did a great job? Son, Ted didn't do this. You did. Father then spent the next 4 hours explaining the difference between real and imaginary friends. And I ended up at the barber where I got the haircut Father picked out. We never made it to the movies. The masterpiece. I don't think my father believes in you, I said to Ted after the haircut thing. No? Ted gasped. He must. He has to. Still, I didn't think so, but I had an idea. Ooh, we can do a big, humongous, life-size picture of me. I bet that would show your father. But what do we do it on? I asked. I didn't have any paper that was as humongous as Ted. Look how big he is. What do you think I could use? Ted said, the walls, silly. They're so blank and boring. Oh no, that's a terrible idea. And wishy whoosh. Look at that. It was a masterpiece. This is Ted. There's him. This is Barber Ted. Uh-oh. Do you think the dad's going to like it that they draw it on the walls? Yeah, we're not allowed to do that. Father didn't think so. He couldn't believe how much of a mess I had made. By myself, in one afternoon, that's when I reminded him about Ted. I have had enough of this Ted character, Father said. Now go get washed up. You're going to bed early while I clean up this disaster. I don't think Father even looked at our picture. Look at that picture. Is Dad working and he didn't ask for where to color? Yeah, you gotta ask, don't you? Otherwise you can get in trouble. Indoor swimming. Look at his face. He's very silly. When did your father become such a stuffy pants? Ted asked me the following afternoon. And what do adults do for fun anyway? I started listing all the things my father didn't have time for anymore. When I got to swimming, Ted's eyes lit up like marshmallows. Let's make him a swimming pool. I wasn't sure if a pool was such a good idea, especially after the painting disaster and the haircut thing. So I had a few questions. How do we make a pool? Where do we get the water? And the thing that I wondered the most, where are we going to put it? Ted had everything covered. Oh my, do you think this is going to turn out well? I don't know. Uh-oh. Look at that hose, where it's going. See right down there. This hose going up into the house. The hose has water. It's easy, Ted explained. We used the garden hose, bring it in through the window, and splishy splash. We could even put it in your father's study. An indoor swimming pool. We'd be the only house in the whole block to have an indoor swimming pool. I held the hose. Ted turned on the water. Father is going to love this. Is his father going to love this? Yeah, I don't think so. He didn't. Look at that picture. Oh no, that is a bad mess. Ugh. Father was beside himself. I have had enough. I forbid you to ever play with Ted again. No more Ted, ever. Look at his face. After we drained the house, Ted told me it was time for him to leave. But where will you go? I asked. Back home, he replied, to the old playground. The whole next day, all I could think about was Ted. I felt pretty sad and alone. So I packed up my Monopoly, my Twister, my cereal, and some raspberries, and I ran away to live with him. Father was still mad. But I wrote him a note. Dear Dad, I went to go live with Ted at the old playground. Please don't worry. See? What do you think's going to happen? There's Ted at the old playground. And here he comes with his games. This is called the old playground. When I found Ted, I explained why I had run away. Oh, don't blame your father, he said. Sometimes when people grow up, they forget how to have fun. Your father told me that when he was your age. My father told you that? Yep, but to him I wasn't Ted. I was Ned. boy, the times we had playing Space Pirates. In fact, your father buried his atomic blaster right here under this slide. You knew my father too? Look at him. Suddenly, there was a flashlight shining in my face. See right there? Who's here? You shouldn't have run off like that. I was worried about you. It was my father. You were? I smiled. Of course I was. I'm your dad. Now come on, we're going home. But what about Ted? I asked. My dad stopped. There is no Ted, son. But there is, I said. You used to play Space Pirates together, except you called him Ned. He even knows where you buried your atomic blaster. Dad was stunned. He was surprised. Ned, my atomic blaster. Father had forbidden us to play. I lost it somewhere. It's okay, Dad. Ted says he remembers you buried it underneath the slide. He's right. I remember. And we started digging. And there it was, a bit rusty in spots, but it still lit up Dad's face. The atomic blaster had been found. Dad gave me a great big hug and then looked right at Ted. Ned, it's so good to see my raspberry-loving pal again. Dad grinned. Then Dad looked at me. Have I ever shown you how to play Space Pirates? No, I grinned. Then can we play Monopoly Twister? Look at him. Is Dad playing with his imaginary friend now too? So we all went home and played one mean game of Space Pirates Monopoly Twister. The end. That's a silly story. Wait. Oh, here they are at the end. I forgot. There's this page. A fun page. So, whoops, hold on one second. They do get into quite a bit of trouble, don't they? And it is important to get a grown-up's permission to do projects and play, isn't it? To make sure everything's, your family knows what's happening, because we don't want anybody to get in trouble. And it's also wonderful to use your imagination, no matter if you're a kid or a grown-up, right? And so what was nice to see is that the dad was working, he was very busy, and he's trying to help his family with his job, but then he remembered to play with his kid, and that was nice too. So now we're here, we're actually in right near my kitchen, and we are going to do a messy project. And I asked my family if it was okay to do this messy project, and they said it was. So if you do this, you have to ask too. So, so we made bread. Do you guys remember the bread? Let me show you. We made bread, and that's what this is the side of the bread. This is another loaf that Mr. Wolfie made, and you can see all the holes, and the yeast made it rise up and puff up, and we made it with this yeast, right? We did that. So now we're going to see how this works to make things rise. So I have here, I'm going to set this back up here. Let's see if you can see this right here. Okay, so I have a glass container, and this is for the spilling. I'm going to see if this works. I have no idea if it's going to work. Let's see. So we're going to add, I'm going to add a quarter teaspoon. So this is like a white powder. And I'm going to put it in here. I just added in a quarter teaspoon. Now, in here I have vinegar. This is vinegar. And I'm going to pour it in here. Vinegar, remember we smelled it in our smell test? It smells very sour. And if you touch it, it will kind of bother your skin. It's very good for doing it. You can make salad dressing with it, and you can clean with it too, which is kind of interesting. So I'm going to put it in here and see if you can watch what happens on the bottom. Ooh. Do you see it bubbling? So let's see if I add a little bit more. Let's see what happens. It bubbles up just like the yeast did. It makes things rise. Let's see if I can get this out. Okay, so now I'm going to add a whole teaspoon of this. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Look at what's happening. I added more. Uh-oh, it's totally bubbling up. Do you see that? Let's see if I add some vinegar to it. What is going to happen here? Oh my goodness. Ooh. Whoa, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up. Let's see if I add a little bit more. I'm getting all zany. See if I can get it to go up and over. Oh, bubbling over. Oh, look at that. Can you see that? You see how it's bubbling over? It's a pretty neat experiment. So now, here's what I thought we could do. So remember we talked about, first of all, we talked about that the yeast and the water created a carbon dioxide gas, like the gas you blow out of your mouth. That's carbon dioxide. And the yeast and the water created that, and the sugar created the carbon dioxide. So baking soda and vinegar create that same carbon dioxide. And that gas is what's bubbling up. Now, if we wanted to get really messy and we could go outside and play in the mud a little bit, we could do this other experiment. Let's see if I can. I'm going to have to get down low again, I think. I'm going to fill up a cup of vinegar. And I'm going to use what was it? I think it was a teaspoon, just a teaspoon. A teaspoon of this baking powder. Now what I'm going to do is I have my glass dish, and I went and I got some mud or some dirt outside. Hold on a second, I'm making a mess. I got this dirt from outside in the yard. I brought it in. It's working here. And I'm gonna pour a little bit of mud in here. And then let's see. I also found a bottle, and this has, just like this, it has a narrow opening. And so I'm going to put this in here because it looks like the same kind of dirt color. And I just think it'd be kind of fun to make a volcano. And then I can put some more dirt around it to sort of build it up. And a volcano, some of you may know what a volcano is, seen pictures of it. And others may not. So let's see, what did I want to tell you about that? So remember when we talked about the kid whose mouth was a volcano? We read that story, and his mouth was erupting. And he kept, people were talking and he kept talking over them. So they call that like a volcano because his mouth was erupting. So now I have this. Looks more like a dirt mountain. If I had more dirt, I can make it all the way up. But real volcanoes are in a lot of places in the earth. They're not here. We don't have one close by. Sometimes they can look like a mountain, and sometimes they don't, and sometimes they have a big rounded area at the very top. Some have a narrow one. So I have a picture here. Hold on one second here. This is, I had a picture. Hold on, I'm looking. 198. Yes, okay. This is a picture of a volcano that doesn't erupt very much, and it goes straight up, and it has a little hole at the top where smoke can come out of it, and mostly steam. And so, but underneath there, there is, it goes way down into the earth, and it's very, very hot. And sometimes it gets so hot that it just needs to come up and out of the top of here. And most of the time it comes out in steam, but sometimes it'll come out and it'll look like hot lava. This is lava. This is like hot, fiery rocks spewing up out of the earth. And that lava makes new earth where new beautiful plants and trees grow. But it takes a long, long time for that to happen. And I've been to the volcano I just showed you. It wasn't erupting at the time I was there. It's in Costa Rica. And there are many all over the world. And they're pretty interesting to visit. And so we're gonna do this pretend project. So same thing, I'm gonna add, I made looks like a volcano. I could build it up more if I had more dirt. And I'm gonna put some baking soda into the bottle. And if I had red food coloring, I could put red food coloring in this vinegar and turn it all red and then dump it in and it would look red coming out. But I didn't have any and I didn't know what it was gonna look like on the video, so we didn't make that for you. So I'm gonna add this in and see what happens. Oh, here it comes. Check it out. You see it? It looks like a volcano erupting on the dirt. So it's just a fun project to do. It's kind of messy, so you gotta have permission. Don't be like Ted. And we have to say goodbye now. So goodbye to everyone. Goodbye to our orange room. It's nice to be with you again, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.